bottom on it so the dogs can't push on it, but it's,
All right.
yep, it sure does. It was a family affair. It was great. Thank you.
All right. So I think we might be, we're
Appreciate it,
going
love.
live and I'm going to hit record. Record.
We were just getting complimented by one of the church owners on our fence because
I
we
heard
worked so
that.
hard. We're all finished with our fence. Almost. Almost.
All right.
That's
Good
awesome.
morning.
Hold on a sec.
Hiya.
I'm hearing a couple of things. Hold on.
Oh.
Okay. So we are live and good morning. It is Sunday morning and hello to anybody who might be joining us. I'm Patty with Patty Talks Too Much, and I am here with my dear friends Anoki and Taylor. And you might have already guessed, we have been really yakking it up this morning. It's a chattery morning. So at any rate, so thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining the chatter. I think it's gonna be a wild one.
I've got so much to talk about. So I hope you guys have time for my chatter today. First
I
and
want to
foremost,
hear.
since we started off with good morning, I want to speak on this little Irish fairy of a woman that I've come across on the internet. And she was discussing the verbiage in which or just our language, and how to raise our vibrations when we speak. And she said the coolest thing. At the beginning of the podcast, she was discussing good morning and all of the ways in which we start so low, right? Hell, low. They're both very low words. And so her way to greet people in the morning is hiya. And in her little Irish accent, it was so precious because she was saying higher. And it immediately was like a vibrational raise. Like, what a beautiful way to greet somebody in the morning. Hiya, love, is what she says. Hiya, love. So I'm literally saying higher love as a greeting instead of good morning or hello. It's just really interesting. And she went on to say a few other terms in which I can't remember off the top of my head, but they were things that we say every day.
I always loved good morning, but it's because of the way my mom would say it.
Right.
And it's like the way that I say it too. And my mom would come in the morning in the calmest voice on the face of the planet, and she'd walk up to my bed and she'd go, "Good morning. Good morning." I mean, and just that tone, like the way
that's your
that
association.
I mean, it was almost like I would wake up with this like tingle in my whole body. Like my whole body would feel her say good morning. And I knew that we were gonna like get up and go outside and sit outside until the sun rose. Or I knew that we were gonna go downstairs and she was gonna make some special little breakfast and I was gonna sit at the counter in front of her and we were gonna interact, And it was like, I don't know, I guess like, just saying all that, just now, like, I mean,
well,
it was magical.
It was all love and magic.
Wow.
So your association with that, So your association
and so
with
for
that
me,
is love and magic.
Yeah, and the beginning, the morning was the beginning of the day, and it was like the best part of the day, and it had that golden hour sunrise, beautiful bonding time with my mom, every day.
That reminds me of beach mornings.
Yeah, like we
get up
connected
at 5
so
o'clock,
hard
the
in the
cooler's
morning.
packed, we're on our way before the sun rises, we're at the beach waiting for the sun.
There was something
some
about
of the best days of my childhood.
Yeah,
and
so
when
I think good, positive, like a fresh, happy, light-filled start to something beautiful beginning is what I view morning.
So it's just so good morning has a whole unique meaning to you, and it's
Yes.
not a low vibration. It's
Now,
it
hello.
represents love and magic. Yeah.
Now, hello. I've always found to be it can really be an impersonal greeting. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
It's more
you
formal.
can look at somebody and be like, hello, you know,
Yeah.
and it doesn't mean the same thing as hello. Like the
Mm-hmm.
delivery of your hello is
It's
very, very, very,
important. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. And so I
Yeah.
never really liked
It can
that.
be cold.
Yeah, yeah,
Hello
it
can
can be
feel
cold.
cold.
It
Mm-hmm.
can
I
be
just
like
love
answering a
hiya. Hiya,
question
love.
with
It was so
okay.
great.
Yeah.
It can feel like answering a question with okay. Like
Mm.
just okay. You
Yeah.
know,
Or just
sometimes
say in a text
I'm
too.
yeah,
Mm.
I'm that guy, you know. If you send me K or okay, I think something is wrong.
Yeah, it's
You
wrong.
know,
It's
like
like,
I've
Yes.
sent
uh-oh.
you three sentences in one
Blink
question,
twice
you
if
know.
you're
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
give me something else there,
Send
you
a
know.
period
Like
if you need help.
Yeah.
I'm not a cut and dry individual. I need some elaboration.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
So you
elaborate.
guys tell me if you have been this week feeling a shift in your intuitive senses.
Oh yeah.
Have y'all
I've
been
been
feeling that?
Oh
yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I've
Mm-hmm.
been feeling good and I've been
Yeah.
feeling more connected. And I feel like I've been delivering meaningful statements and
Yeah.
impactful interactions with people around me.
So I
Yeah.
want to share
And
the story that
Mm.
happened at work.
yeah,
Sorry to interrupt you, Anoki. Do you want to finish your
no,
thought?
yeah, no, that was it. That was
I
all.
was so excited to share the story. So, I was asked to continue to be a positive influence for this individual. This is a coworker of mine that um I feel this endearing love for. And she's an elder to me, and she's like, this Amazon of a woman, just big burly voice, and her name is Simone, which, Anoki was saying before the podcast, that's such a strong name.
It's a
She's a
good
very
name, yeah.
Mm.
strong woman and very good of heart, but she gets down. We all get down on ourselves. So, um, I get to work the other day and she was just like, man, this is just Taylor. It's just going to be one of those shifts that I just don't know how I'm going to do it. And I need to make some money tonight. And I touched her and I said, Simone, one table is going to come in here and change your night tonight. I said, how much money do you need to make? She said, Taylor, I need $200. And I said, Simone, you're going to make $200 tonight off one
Mhm.
table. Do you trust me? And she said, yes, I do. I do. You're right. You're right. You're right. I'm just going to be positive. Okay. So
Mhm.
halfway through the night, I had been double sat with a table that requested me. And so I said, Simone, take that fob top, just come in. And it was a table where there were special needs children and they needed, extra leavens at the table. And that's Simone's made for that. So, anyways, at the end of all of this, dining experience for these folks, I hear Simone, whoa! And she gets excited. She does this, whoa! And the whole restaurant, like everybody at the bar will just, whoa! It's hysterical. You got to be there for it. And she's just her energy is so strong, And
Yeah.
I'll be damned if she didn't walk up to me and start crying. And she
She made
held out her
$200.
hand and
Mhm.
she held in her hand $200 bills. And she said, Taylor, what are you, some kind of spiritual? How did you do that? And I said, no, 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 Simone, you did that because you believed in it, just like that. I said, you see how powerful manifestation is? And it was such a beautiful lesson. And the second time that the universe has allowed me to show her that. So she's like, I don't know what you are. You're some kind of, I don't know, you're some kind of witch
A
or some kind of
manifester.
prophet or
I'm a
I'm
fucking
Yeah,
like,
just
no,
manifester.
manifestors.
I'm a
I
goddamn
literally,
manifester.
yes, I
But that
fucking
was
manifest this shit.
that was co-manifested because you gave her that table.
I gave it to her
Uh,
and she knew I
Mm-hmm.
did. And it was
Mm-hmm.
really, really beautiful. It's
Yeah.
so, it was just, it was a lesson for me too. Like maybe I needed to remember, like, we are all powerful. We are all so powerful that you can speak it and then you can literally fucking watch it happen before your eyes.
yeah.
Well,
Powerful shit.
it also involves like I think that manifestation is most powerful when it's done cooperatively.
Yeah,
So when
Yeah.
with
people
good
are,
intention
well,
from the
yes, of
heart.
course, but when
It
people
The
are
definitely
coming
felt
together,
intention sets it
yeah,
all. The
yeah,
intention sets it all,
mm-hmm,
like
mm-hmm,
for
it was
sure. But with
powerful
a,
as fuck. Like
yeah,
I was surprised. I mean, I knew that the possibility was there, but when it actually happened and I realized that it was literally verbatim what I spoke to her,
mm-hmm,
it was we both just stood there like, whoa. And she's like, you're some kind of magic or something.
mm.
yeah.
Like,
But
no, we all are, baby. We all are.
yeah, and manifesting something like that is, I mean, like one of the most powerful things in manifestation is the emotional component,
Mm,
so our emotions turbocharge our manifestations. And Simone has, very, strong emotions and strong intention. So it's really, I don't know if she'll ever really acknowledge that because um, she may be more religiously
mm-hmm,
oriented. And
mm-hmm,
so she thinks about things more religiously.
mm-hmm.
But it was, clearly, I mean, so basically what you did was you allowed her to manifest what she needed. Do you know what I mean? You allowed the
Yeah,
manifestation, and
yeah.
you kind of like you organized the environment for the manifestation to happen. So the table,
Mm-hmm.
giving her the table and assuring her and everything. But so Simone might defer to you, but she did all the work.
Yep.
She
She
did
sure
it.
did.
What you did was recognize the possibility
Yeah.
and
And make her
have her
recognize the possibility.
exactly, and make her recognize the
Mm-hmm,
possibility.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so her despair at the beginning of the shift turned into hope and
Hope.
excitement. Yeah.
Hope is
Hope
fucking
and
Sometimes I
powerful.
feel,
and
yeah,
excitement too.
sometimes,
So yeah.
yeah,
So when
yeah,
she got
no,
that table, she probably knew she was in her element too. Like there
Yeah.
was
well, yeah,
probably a sense that
It was a
this is gonna
groove. It was
happen. It was a
meant
group.
to be.
Yeah, it was meant to be. No.
there's a lot of portions to it, but yeah, I think that empathy, forces, that will and desire and want to heal that,
Mm,
and I think that that's one of the most powerful, seeing somebody and just wishing better for
Good
them,
for them.
yeah.
That's
yeah,
even more powerful than wanting it for
that's,
yourself. With
yeah,
no
Absolutely.
that's
strings
so
attached.
powerful,
Yeah.
Oh, it gives me
like,
goosebumps, literal goosebumps.
yeah,
And I
Right.
feel that for
Because
that woman.
yeah,
And
and because that's how
it was
blessings.
wholeheartedly like whoosh.
Yeah.
Yes, this is
Yeah.
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
But it is true. What goes out comes round. So you orchestrated, like you created an environment for that powerful manifestation to happen for her. So that energy has gone out and she's gotten it, and it will come back to you in some form. In other words, and
Always,
you've seen this. Yeah, you've
always,
seen this.
always,
Yeah.
always, always.
There's this, it's interesting because I'm at this school of
Do you
2,300
like your new
students.
school?
There are some things I like and there are some things I find really
Okay.
challenging. So it is not as even though it's like this really great building, it's not really that organized. There are things that fall through the cracks. There are things that they are really focused on, and then you look at other things and you're like, they really should be focused on that because that's really more
Mm-hmm.
important. But you know what I mean? You just kind of see these things. And then, of course, there's always the big component. Well, part of it is getting to know my students and my students getting to know me. And that has been overall good, but there have been some interesting challenges in that. And then there's the staff. And there's like, who will I have acquaintances here? Will I
You
have
will.
people that I can
You
talk
will.
to? So there's this woman
Absolutely, yes.
there's this woman across the
I feel that.
hall. Yeah. Her name is Kelly, and she actually came to the school because her daughter also is teaching at the school. And now
Oh, sweet.
Kelly has taught on the college level for like 20 years and
Wow.
decided to come into I know, and decided to come into the high schools.
Oh, so
And
she's fierce.
partly, yeah,
That's a
she
fierce
is.
teacher. She's
She
going to
is. She's
expect a
in
lot from
her,
those kids.
yeah, yes, in a way. But so she's meeting with her challenges. And so when I meet with challenges, I just kind of go across the hall and stand in her doorway. And she was like, "What's up?
Oh,
What's
I
going on?"
love
And
that. I love that.
she comes into my room. The first week I walked into her room, and what was on her desk? A pack of sage sticks for smudging. And I was like, "You were thinking of smudging your class before you get students?" And she
Hell
said,
yeah.
"Yeah." She
Smudging
said,
this
"But I
class. So
can't."
fun.
She said, "But I can't because of the smoke." I was told,
I just
I said,
waved the sage around.
"Yeah." And I said, "Well, there might be,
Hey,
so you're
plant
concerned about."
energetics are serious. You can
It
literally
works. Yeah,
think
it
of
works.
sage and imagine the sage
Yeah.
smoke clearing the room and
Yeah.
call on sage. You don't even need to touch the plant.
Well, yeah, that's not really what I told her. But
Did you
if
tell her
you were
salt silver
across the hall
sage?
from Kelly, you could have said that to her. That would have been awesome. But what I said is, if you're concerned about, because she says I'm kind of an empath, and so I absorb a lot of energy and everything. I said, "Ooh, this is going to be challenging for you." And she was like, "Yeah, I'm already anticipating it." And I said, "Well, have you heard of shungite?"
Oh,
And so she said, "No, I haven't."
you're
I said, "Well,
so smart.
look it up, and shungite is something that you can wear." And what it is, it's like this mysterious stone. Apparently it came from a meteorite. There's only one place in the whole world you can find it, somewhere in Russia. And it is highly effective in terms of protecting you from negative frequencies that come from
Yeah.
technology. But in general, if there are kind of these negative frequencies that are not attuned to you, then it can protect you. So you can get a necklace, you can get a bracelet, you can do
You
stuff like that.
made a shawl.
Yeah, I told her about that. So I said, "Yeah, I have." She said, "Well, do you have
Yeah,
shungite?" And
that
I
was
said, "Well,"
badass.
I said, "I
Do I? I just made a
it's not,
shawl
I
and
know it's not something that I could."
adorned it.
I said, "It's not something I could actually wear to work." But I explained to her, I said it was kind of like a little bit like a priestess shawl for like fire ceremonies and everything. And she went, like this,
Oh,
like she
so
got
she
it, but she didn't.
immediately
Yeah,
liked
she
you.
didn't. Yeah. And so so we were kind of striking up this rapport, which is awesome because there are so many things happening at this school that you need somebody to talk to. And
Yeah.
me, I'm a talker. I need to
It's
talk
a
to
And
big
people.
across the
school.
hall is
Yeah,
perfectly
it's
It's a huge
perfect.
convenient.
Just a few
school.
steps away, right?
Yeah.
She came because I've been telling her, "Oh, I'm milling my own flour and I'm making my own cheese and I'm going to do sourdough." And she goes like, "Oh, that's awesome." She's very impressed, right? And so she came into my room the other day and she said, "Did you know that there's a 200-year-old mill in Dahlonega that they stone mill all of these different grains that you can go in and buy it?" And my eyes you should have seen they got like really big. I said, "Are you
Patty's
kidding me?"
like, are you trying to dirty
And she
talk me
said,
at school
"I
right now?
know, right? Are you flirting with me right now?"
Is this gonna
She has a husband, so it's cool. But
Oh,
yeah, but at any rate, she said,
I
"How
always am
about
ready. I'm ready for Patty. I'm ready.
I?"
I'm like romantically, what's happening, huh?
Yeah, I know.
She
You've been
hates
ready for
me.
years, girl.
She
Calm
hates
down.
it.
But she said, "How about next weekend? I take you to the mill." And I was like, "I'm there. Absolutely." And I was telling her, it was like
Awesome.
when I moved to North Georgia, I have these cousins who I love dearly, but it's not like they're taking me around to see stuff, or the stuff that maybe they'd be interested in. I'm not so much. So this mill,
Yeah,
this is the thing I'm
perfect.
interested in. And she said, there are Indian mounds and there are all kinds of things in North Georgia that,
Oh yeah.
she said we could go. And she said, and LJ is a really cool little town. I said, "I know, I've heard." And she said, "Okay, well, I wouldn't mind taking you to different places and showing you around." And I was like, "Oh, it's awesome,"
That's
because
awesome.
it's really what I wanted. I wanted to, I came up here. I wanted to explore. I know that there's a reason why I'm here. And I know that, I've got I feed the deer and I have my little hummingbirds here and I have the mountains and the trees, all the things that I wanted. And I have a nature trail and there are all these really wonderful things. But I also want to kind of go out a little further and see other things. So, and experience other things. So at any rate, my new friend Kelly is Dr. McCaffrey, actually, Dr. McCaffrey.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
so perfect for you. You
I
have
know.
a friend that's
English, so she's
mature
got an
and
English master's. That's
she has a
pretty
doctoral.
good.
Yeah, she has a doctoral.
A
oh my
doctor, English
God,
doctorate. Yeah.
meant to be your friend.
Yeah, she is,
Wow.
and she's
I
so
love this
she's
for
really
you.
she's really cool. She said, I did this whole thing on the kind of like on curse words and swear words and like the history of them and what they mean and all of that. And I was like,
Yes.
oh, you are my new friend.
Yes. Fuck is
And
my favorite.
I know. I asked her about fuck. I asked her about, is it really an acronym? And she said, that's a theory, but it's not really true. It looks like it probably the FUCK.
Oh no. So in theater history in high school, I was taught that fuck was actually pluck. Pluck, Pluck, pluck you. And that was because when we were fighting each other with bows and arrows, we plucked our arrow with our middle finger. And so when you saw your enemy,
you wanted
you
to
would say pluck you.
Shoot them with an arrow.
Yes. And this is how you said pluck you.
You know what? So
in war, they would cut off your middle finger.
Oh yeah. And see, I'm gonna ask her about that when we're on our drive out to the mill. Out to the mill.
So fun. How interesting.
Yeah, so we get to talk about language, my favorite, and we get to I get to go to this mill and and pick up some grains that I might like to use in my sourdough bread. And so there's,
oh my gosh,
so I'm absolutely thrilled. So it's interesting that so I have that, and at the same time I have these students I'm really strict about cell phones, so I don't allow them. I have a little caddy where all the cell phones go in, and then at the end of class, they get to take their cell phones. And there are some students who are just certain students are just flipping out about it, and I'm like, no, it's not. That's the rule. And there are 3 students in particular, all boys, 17, Hispanic, and are just completely disrespectful. And I'm like, this is interesting, because I don't, I don't yell at students. I'm not going to be disrespectful to them or whatever. But I'm like, well, this is kind of interesting. And so I'm kind of wondering, it's like, does it have to do with my age? Does it have to do, do they think I'm too soft?
Young people assume. Literally, they have no idea that you worked in New York, the epicenter of New York, in South Florida, and some of the hardest places. Baby, sit down.
Juvenile jails.
Don't make me show you my leg. Don't listen. This is what I say. Don't make my Lake Worth show. You don't want my Lake Worth to show.
Yeah, but I don't.
I've shopped at World Thrift.
I shopped at World. Okay.
I've been to the
World Thrift.
But I will tell you that second week of school, I've already heard 2 other teachers yelling at their students. It's like, I'm not going to yell.
And that's not your vibe.
That's not my vibe.
Bye.
I'm not going to yell.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to yell. There's
unbothered.
There's like this thing. There's this thing. So we have a certain number of
you don't have to yell at them. You just write them up. Just
I do. Yeah, so that's what I do. Unfortunately,
I write you up.
Yeah, and I don't even
deal with it.
Go to the office.
Yeah, I don't even tell them that I'm writing them up. I just send a note to their counselor, or write a little note and everything, and that's kind of how I follow up. But like, it's kind of like, wow, this is new. So I'm not really sure, but it's really only 3. And actually, one of the students, I had a student say, Miss Lucia, don't waste your time on him. No, don't pay any attention to him. He's just a this or that. And I was like, no, it's cool. I'm not mad at him.
Cool.
I just need,
Just play
So
it super
That's
cool,
yeah,
like
you just
unbothered.
gotta
Like,
you
all
just
right,
gotta be like,
bet.
that's your problem. You
You
have
gotta
a
use a little
problem,
lingo.
not
You know what I
me.
mean? You gotta be
yeah,
like, okay, say less,
mhm,
bro. I
uh-huh.
got your slip.
Yeah,
Say less.
yeah.
Or bet on
Taylor,
it.
I've never been the guy
Taylor,
that could throw
Taylor,
lingo
never
at
don't.
people. I've never been a lingo guy.
I
Like
mean,
Oh, I
I
jump.
probably
No, I
won't
can't get
fit
with this
into
new shit that
the
these little kids
sus
have.
and the I can't do I don't know.
I've
yeah.
You know, like
tried. My kids
Mm,
just think it's
and Patty's an
cringy.
English master. You're asking an English master to
See, but I
manipulate
speak like that and
English.
then turn around and speak
yeah,
very,
I won't do
very
it.
well. And
But I think
yeah,
I'm very
no,
different. I think I'm very, very
you are.
different. And they're trying to figure that
They
out.
can't figure you out.
And
Give them time.
I do speak to them the way that I speak to adults. Like I don't speak
Mm-hmm.
down to them. I speak to them. And there was this one of the kids who really wants to challenge me. We were looking at some vocabulary and one of the words was impeccably. And he said,
Mm.
"Is that how you talk?" And I said, "What do you
Oh,
mean? Did you use those words?"
yes, I can speak
And
impeccably. Can
and I
you?
said, I said, well, sometimes I do. I don't use it all the time, but it's a great word to know.
It is.
And I said, and let me just say a little bit about learning new vocabulary and everything. It's like it's important to learn new vocabulary so we have better, we have better and better ways of expressing ourselves. And to be honest with you, when you guys go out in the world and you're getting a job or you're joining the Marines or you're, whatever it is you're doing, starting a business, people are not going to judge your intelligence by how much you remember from your algebra class. Like
Yeah.
nobody's going to ask you about algebra. Very few people,
But
depending on
they
what you do, they're
will
not going to ask you about geometry.
with
But
Even if
grammar
you
and
want to be a
English.
unfortunately,
rapper, go get
they're
a
going to,
thesaurus.
yeah, but they are, that's
Learn.
right. That's right. Um, but they are going to judge your intelligence by how well you communicate, how well you speak, how well you write.
Yes.
They're all in for the rest of your life. You will be judged. Your intelligence will be judged by how well you communicate. And so
Yes.
I know, and I'll do this at the beginning of the year. I know that the intelligence level of all the students in this class is up here. Woo, you
Yep.
guys are really
Yep.
smart. However, if your
What's your base? Yeah.
communication is here, then people are always going to assume that your intelligence is here. I
Yeah.
just want to close the gap. I want to close the
Mm.
gap so people don't judge you less than who you are. That's all. That's what I'm doing. All right. So let's give it a try.
Ooh, I get choked up every time Patty talks about teaching because even my children say, Anoki, like, damn, what I would give, hey, Liv, what I would give to have Patty as a teacher. Because holy shit, you care. You care about kids.
Yeah.
You
I
give a
think,
shit about who they're becoming and what they can become. And you see potential that they don't see in themselves.
yeah,
And
it's
that
not
is
just about,
beautiful.
that's right. It's
That's
not
why
just
you were a
about this
jewel to
class.
having Palm Beach County schools because
Yeah,
they are
I
few
did
and far
enjoy it.
between. And I'm sure in Georgia, it's not much different. Now, I hope that you find I'm wrong. I hope that you find like-minded
Yeah.
individuals in this school other than
Oh,
Kelly,
yeah. Oh,
and
yeah, I'm
you can have
sure.
a group
Yeah.
of teachers that give a shit because
Mm-hmm.
that's so special. And
Well,
I commend you.
oh,
And I
yeah, I
know that
appreciate
there are
that.
students out there that you touched years ago that
Mm.
still stand by. Man, Miss Lucia, man, she was the dopest teacher I ever had. I'm so glad I took her
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. And it's like, one of the things about being a teacher is that you touch people's lives and most often than not, you really don't know. You never find out. I mean, 20 years later, they might say, wow, I remember this thing that my teacher said, and you're not around for them to call and say, hey, I was just thinking about, you know what I mean? Like
I was really blessed.
See,
I
I
got to
am the
tell my
weird
English
psychotic
teacher.
child that does look for my teachers
No,
or
yeah,
whatever.
my teachers that touched my life, they know. To this day, they know, like you
But you
saved
know
my
what I'll
life.
tell you?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I've messaged probably 10 of my teachers throughout the years or whatever. I've not had any one of them send me a personal response back.
Mm. Yeah.
You
Tony
know?
Pilla
Yeah.
was
That's hard.
in my
Well,
sixth
my
grade English
instructor
teacher
in the
twice.
auto industry is different. I talk to him all the time. Like, and then my third grade teacher, I reached out to him and he just gave me a cordial, thank you.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I'm glad that you're doing well,
Yeah.
But yeah, like my music teacher, I sent her a message like about how she changed my life, and it was like when I was playing music and stuff, and just thanking her for giving me a chance to sing, and
I
Wow.
mean, it's hard
never
That's
because,
special.
Anoki, and the thing about teachers is like, we're human beings,
There's a
and many
line, yeah,
but I was actually going to say that many many teachers have difficulty with different levels of intimacy, just like, or
yeah,
ordinary people. And so I honestly think that there might be a lot of teachers who have a hard
put a
time
line there,
dealing with it emotionally, like
yeah,
taking in the emotional impact that you've had on people, I think can be hard.
Yeah.
And I know I've
yeah,
struggled with it myself. And so don't, who knows, what's going on
yeah,
with them. But a lot of times it's not you, it's some limitations that they bump up against when they
yeah,
contemplate even responding to such a
Yeah.
message
Yeah.
from a former
Totally.
student. Yeah.
Totally.
So,
yeah,
So in my experience, I had the same sixth. Remember, I told you guys last week about the story how I went back to sixth grade.
yeah. That
So
was such a funny
there was
story.
a teacher. It was my English teacher in sixth grade. Her name was Tony Pilla. She was from Brooklyn. She was a hard ass
She's
little
from
woman.
Brooklyn.
She was from Brooklyn. She was from the Bronx, actually.
Oh, from the
And
Bronx.
she was from the Bronx. And she was this little, like, Italian woman with this petite build covered in little Snoopy tattoos, but she was a
Oh
badass.
no.
And she saw me more than I saw myself. And she
Mm-hmm.
knew that I had a fucked up home life. And she knew that I needed to escape it. And she
Mm-hmm.
saw the potential in me that I didn't see in myself.
Right.
This woman rallied for me. It makes me want to cry. This woman would give me books that were way far surpassed shit I should have been
Mm-hmm.
reading at my age, but she
Mm-hmm.
knew I could fucking handle it. Gangs, drugs, suicide, you name it. I read about it. Every
Mm-hmm.
fucking banned book, I read it my first year of sixth grade. This woman was saving my life with books and she knew
Yeah.
it. She
Yeah.
would have to give me rides home after detention. Like she knew that my life was fucked up. So I
Mm-hmm.
go back to sixth grade. I have her again. She's like, Taylor, don't fuck it up this time. This is how she spoke to me because she knew I
Yeah.
could fucking handle it.
And because she was from the Bronx.
And she was from so this is how cool she was. If you got the question right, she would throw fucking candy. She would just get up and
Uh,
just chuck candy at your
yeah.
head.
And it hit
And
you in
if
the head.
you
yeah,
weren't
I've done
paying
that.
attention
I've
and
done
you
that.
got the answer wrong, if
Mm.
you think maybe she was half Puerto Rican, I don't know,
Mm.
but she got a chunkla. She would take her fucking shoe off and threaten to
Oh.
hit you. She did throw her shoe a couple times. And
Mm-hmm.
then I had her again in eighth grade. But in high school, as a senior, she got to come watch me perform and got to see me as a young adult who had survived that childhood that she tried
Mm-hmm.
so hard to get me to survive. And then we
Mm-hmm.
lost touch again. And then she actually reached out when she saw all of my friends from middle school on the TV about Epstein. She reached out and she was
Ah.
like, please, Tay, I just need to know. She said, Tucker, tell me that you weren't a part of that shit. Please tell me that you weren't one of those kids because those were your girls. And I know, like, I ran an Adnan group and like
Mm-hmm.
an Al-Anon group for all the young girls at my school. My guidance counselor assigned me to go collect all the broken girls because
Mm-hmm.
I was broken, but very open and
Mm-hmm.
willing to heal
Right.
together. Right.
Right.
So I organized this group and these girls were in the group with me, but they never spoke about what's happening. So we were
Yeah.
all friends in school, even though we ran in different circles and whatnot. And so she was making sure I wasn't a part of it. And luckily I
Mm-hmm.
was able to tell her, Pat really did save me from that aspect
Yeah.
of West
Yeah.
Palm. And I was working on Palm Beach Island, but I really never
Mm-hmm.
got wrapped up in that, thank God.
Oh
And she was
yeah.
actually able to give me books for my middle school kids at that point. And I was like, wow, what a beautiful full circle. So
Mm-hmm.
just know that you're always touching
Yeah.
your students and
Mm-hmm.
in a way through your teaching that is treasured gold.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And it, it is. And it's kind of like, for me, an important thing has been to give what I have to give in the classroom and then let it go and not expect anyone to come circle back and thank me. It's like you go out and do your lives, and you don't, I don't really expect students to come back around and say, hey, Miss Lucia, you did this or whatever. I just kind of am always wishing them well. And
And that's
yeah, so
also
that's kind of,
manifestation. That's
yeah,
also that
yeah,
same stringless, um,
yeah, it's
just
no strings. It's, yeah,
wholehearted,
I don't need,
genuine
yeah,
want for the best of others.
right. I don't
And
need,
that is a
because
Yeah.
powerful medicine.
honestly, whatever they do, even if there's been one or two things that have inspired them that I've said, everything that they're accomplishing has to do with them. They're the ones manifesting. They're the ones accomplishing. They're the ones doing the work. I simply said something that stuck, or
You're a
I set an
facilitator
example.
of it.
I'm a facilitator, like with the woman who you helped
And your
manifest.
classroom, we saw the pictures, Anoki and
Oh
I, your
yeah,
classroom
my cute
is a
little classroom.
conduit. It's a conduit
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
of the energy that you have. I mean, it's the same as walking in your cafe. I'm sure that walking in your classroom is a
Yeah,
peaceful break from the fucking crazy hubbub of high school.
yeah, yeah. No, it is.
Yeah.
It's a calm little.
And I'll tell
It's a
you
calm
this,
little thing.
Patrick is in 11th grade this year, and he said that the teachers that he respects the most refreshing part about being in 11th grade is that there are actually teachers that speak to these kids like they are adults. And it is
Mm-hmm,
so refreshing to be not spoken to like a child because
mm-hmm,
he's not a child. Um,
mm-hmm.
and this is our future.
Yeah,
So why are we being condescending and yelling at young adults? What are we teaching
yeah.
them?
What are we doing? I mean, like in a year, they're going to be out, on their own. Why would I speak to them like they're a
Like that.
child? I need to speak to them
Yeah,
like they're an adult already out on their own, because it's just a year away.
it's so close. They're right
It is
there. They're on
so
the cusp
close.
of adulthood and
Yeah.
they need guidance.
Yeah. I mean, and they need,
They need adult guidance, adult
adult
Yes.
models, models, people who just model,
They
there
need
was
it in
this,
a safe
Proper
space
behavior.
too first
yeah.
before they're exposed to it in the full danger
And,
that it is.
we were doing, just to kind of say a few words about,
I wish
so,
Liv would
one of
speak
the,
because her mother was a high school teacher and the impact that her mother made
mm-hmm, in
on
art.
students at Dreyfus was so overwhelming that the entire student body came together for that woman and
Mm,
created so just for really quickly, when she got sick with cancer, the kids at Dreyfus that were all the art students,
yeah.
anytime that Marcia would comment on somebody's shirt, like, that is such a cool shirt, I love that print, all of the kids came together and took those pieces of fabric and created something for her.
Oh,
I
that's
think it was a
awesome.
blanket or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and gave that to her as a gift. And it was
Oh, that's
all of these
awesome. It's
things
like
that
a
she had said
quilt.
that she loved,
Yeah.
yeah, over the years or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
really
that's
special.
beautiful.
See those touching moments that teachers
Yeah.
are able to
Yeah. I mean,
contribute to.
and there's a kind of like, a lot of times when you're in the classroom, you're thinking, all right, I have to teach them all these things, but how does it connect with their lives outside of the school? How do I connect this? Like, I'm teaching them writing, or like how to write persuasively. And I kept, and so I give it a lot of thought, like, how does this apply to their life? And one of the things that I came to was that, we're always, we always have an opinion, or we always are in a situation where maybe we want to persuade someone, or we want someone to see our perspective. But, we might not be writing it, but we're speaking it. So one of the things that I talked to my students about this past week was, or the week before, I can't remember. It's all mush now, but like, is that what we're learning in the way we write will help us communicate better. I said, so think about when you're home and you want to persuade a parent of something. I said, so, and I listed some of the ways that aren't so effective in persuading, like manipulation. Like I talked about manipulation, bribing, bullying, name calling. I said, so sometimes we think that we can get what we want from a parent through manipulation. Like for instance, and I did, and I literally role played
I
it.
wrote to my
I said,
parents.
yeah, I said, oh, mom, you're so beautiful. You're such a great mom. Can I have $20?
Yep.
And everyone, and they laughed. They were like, because they recognized it's like, oh, I said, now, what's the issue with that? So you might get what you want, but how does it feel on the other side? So in other words, the mother who knows that every time her son or her daughter comes up to her and says, I love you, chances are it's because they want something. And so have you ever had, your mother or your father,
I know
when you
that about my
say,
3-year-old.
yeah, when they say I love you, your mother says, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
What do you
Mm-hmm.
want? I said, so is that the kind of relationship that you want? Or, if you give me this, I'll give you that. If you give me
Yep.
this, I'll give you that. That's bribing. Or you could bully. If you don't give me this, I'm going to do that. These are all ways that, that we might use to persuade. But what does it do? Will that person trust you? And all my students are like, no. I said, will that person respect you? I said, if a boy gets what he wants from a girl by manipulating her, will the girl trust him? And all the girls are like, no. Will the girl respect him? And then I did the opposite. If a girl gets what she wants from a boy by manipulating him, will that boy trust her? Will that boy respect her? I said, so you can get what you want by these ways, but you're going to lose someone's trust and respect. I said, so how we're learning to persuade in our writing may be something you can do when you speak to people. And it's a more effective way of persuading because you're giving, your position, you're giving a reason, you might give examples, you're kind of, you're laying it out. Now it's a more honest way of persuasion, but it's really up to you. You can use what we're learning in class in your relationships with your family, with your friends, with your boyfriends, with your girlfriends, and see if it makes a difference when you want
My
to make a point or you want to persuade. See if it makes a difference.
my
And that's
family
kind of how
was
I left
really
it.
big into
Genius.
writing letters. My family was really big into writing letters and stuff. My
Mm,
mom would write my grandfather.
Yeah.
My grandfather would write a lot of
mm,
people. And
That
I,
kind of died with our
felt,
generation. Our letters, like before text messages, that's all we did in school was write letters. We
mm,
folded them a certain
notes.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I still
so
mm,
have 100
that's
notes. I have little
how
pieces of toilet paper that people wrote
same.
me messages
Yes.
on.
And
I
you
got
know what's
all kinds of
interesting?
those
That's how
mean
Pat and
so
I,
much.
yeah, they really
mm,
do. They're nostalgic. And
mm-hmm,
that's how Pat and I always communicated as teenagers. And
mm.
to this day, when we're having issues in our relationship, the best way for us to
Write a
communicate
Is
is
to
note.
to
write it
write,
down.
not text,
Well,
to
and
write a
Well,
I
letter.
because
felt like
it's
as a
not
kid,
reactive. You're able to think it through
I
and
felt
say it
really
more thoughtfully.
misunderstood as a kid, and so by writing this
You
letter,
could express your
Yeah.
I
deeper,
was putting the thought into it, and then I was, reading it and making sure that
Mm-hmm,
that was what I meant, and
mm-hmm.
I'd crumble it up and throw it and write
Yeah.
another,
I said that
and
Until you
I'd
wrong.
got
do it
it,
over and over
until you got it
until I
right.
Yeah,
knew
Yep.
who I was, what I was feeling, what I was
because
thinking,
it was
my point
helping
of view
you
and
discover
perspective
yourself.
in the
Absolutely.
matter. And then it was also,
It's fascinating.
I felt like it should, but a lot of the times it would come across as, whatever, people didn't want to read it or whatnot, but
Mm,
like if they had, like I feel like it was the best way that I could
be
compose
understood.
such a big thing into a
You think
way,
so big. And
Yeah,
you have
because
such
I
big
can't
feelings,
I
my
can't argue.
Aquarian
I'm not a
friend.
good arguer, like people
Well,
want
I
me to
swear, you
recall what
Aquarians,
somebody said. I don't know, I
Mhm.
can't.
Aquarians
I
hold
have to
so much
literally
in.
sit down and think about it. Yeah.
Mhm. Mm.
You and Peyton hold so much. I mean, Phoenix now too. I see it. I'm like, you guys
Well,
hold
because we know
so many big
if there's
feelings
any
in.
reaction at all, like the consequences are dire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like is it Aquariuses are extreme, yeah, but the world is
It's,
extreme
yeah,
Mm.
to
Yeah.
us
you're right.
too,
Mhm.
You're right.
and so we know that if we're just us, if we're just say it how it popped into our head, we're gonna get a
Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
get
backlash.
pushback. You'll
And so
get
I think
pushback.
I
Yeah.
think I think maybe that's why a lot of Aquarians and a lot of people with ADHD, make such good writers,
Writing. Yeah.
make
Yeah.
like
Yeah, that makes
without
sense.
writing I would have nothing. And like
Yeah.
honestly,
Oh my
I'm
God.
I'm
Yeah.
a writer before I am a singer.
I mean,
I'm a
yes.
Mhm.
singer because nobody wants to read the stories, so I want to
So
sing
Mm,
you
them
sing them.
because I
So you
felt
sing
like the
them.
message was important,
Yeah.
you
yeah.
know and
Mm.
and so I really feel like those go hand in hand,
Mhm.
like we have to stop ourselves and we have to put it down, because
Mhm.
if we say it the way that we're thinking it, there's gonna be, a major repercussion,
Yeah.
like
Well,
so.
I
writing as a child saved me too. And I
mm,
still have those journals from the 11, 12-year-old
mhm.
version of me. And I've told you this, Patty,
Mhm. Yeah.
that little girl was not a little girl.
No.
That little girl was so strong. And I'm like, I I don't know where she went. I'm so glad that she doesn't have to be that
she's
strong
you.
anymore. But
Oh yeah.
wow.
You haven't needed to be strong in the last 10 years. No, you didn't you've had such an easy life. I mean, you don't really need any of that strength that you had when you were
I
young.
still think she was
Right,
stronger.
But
Anoki?
yeah,
Right,
you
she
are
didn't need
that
any of
Still
little
that
think she was
girl.
strength.
Yeah,
stronger.
that
Man,
little
she was
girl.
strong. That little girl was
Yeah.
Yeah,
tough as nails because she had to
Yeah.
be.
Well,
But
she
it's
had
so
to
cool to
be.
have that writing still,
Yeah. To
to
have it
like
because it
look
is
into the past.
inspirational. It
Yeah,
is. You know,
writing
I
is
I
special.
agree. I agree with you guys about letter writing, and I might have mentioned this to you before.
Patty
When I
writes
was
letters.
yes, when I yeah, I have something to say about that too. But when I was with the last class that I had in Lake Worth at my last high school in Florida, they were juniors. And so I said, in 1 year, this was towards the end of the year, I said, in 1 year, you're going to be graduating, you're going to be walking on the stage. And so I want you to write letters to your future self who's walking across the stage to get that diploma. I want you to imagine that you are writing to that you, the you that's graduating on graduation day. And so they wrote these letters and I folded them up and I promised them that I would send them to them. I would send them back to them just before graduation. And so that was one of the things I brought to Georgia. They were like, yeah, but what if you're not? And I said, no matter where I am
Wow.
sending these letters to you. It does,
Next
I
level
promise you.
teacher right there.
And so on May 1st, because I knew that they were going to graduate like around the 8th or the 10th or whatever that day was in Florida, and I mailed them off to them. I have no idea, what happened, because it's not like I have contact with my students, but the students that I was about 150 of them. The students that I had, all received the letters that they wrote their junior year, the letters that they wrote to their future self. So it may have been letters of congratulations. You go, girl. You did it. Whatever it was that they wanted to say to themselves. You did it. You worked so hard. Way to go. Whatever. They could use whatever language they wanted because they were writing to themselves. And I just folded them up and I made sure that they wrote down their addresses and they guess. So I know that stuff like that has an impact. I've also had
That
students
would have
like,
been the coolest thing. Yeah, that is
yeah,
so cool.
the students that I had last year, they were all new immigrants. Like I had a class of new immigrants, and so one of the projects that we did was write a letter to your family back in Guatemala, back in Mexico, back in Honduras. Oh, but Ms. Lucia, they live in a little town. And I said, so where does the mail go? Where do they pick up the mail? Oh, well, there's this little, I said, you find it, you find that address, and we are sending, but it's international. So I got international stamps. And I said, oh no, we're sending these letters. And I made sure it was like
Unreal.
pretty stationary, like pretty card stationary. And we sent them out, and hopefully they got to the people that they were writing to back home who, I mean, maybe they're in touch by phone or by text, but there is, and I've told my students, it's like, yes, maybe you can call them, maybe you can text them, but don't underestimate how powerful it is to receive a letter that's come through the mail. And now you have it in your hands. And I assure you that most people will keep things like that because they are so special.
I have
So
all of the letters that you have
right,
sent me with your adorable little
right.
wax seals.
I love that.
I
Now,
have,
here's the thing. Maybe you can help me out with this, Anoki. Since my arthritis has taken over my hands, I
mhm,
I can't write those cards like I used to. So
mhm.
I would love to continue to write the cards, but I can't I have difficulty holding a pen correctly. And so I'm thinking, and I still have the wax, and I still have my little stamps, and I still have all these things. It's like, oh, I would really like to continue to do that. So anyway, I'm trying
Hmm.
to think of how I can, continue something like that, given that
Why don't you
I'm
paint
not,
them?
like do art.
Yeah.
I might do that because I think I can do a paintbrush, like I think I can do
Well,
that.
a paintbrush,
But
they
writing,
come in
like
different
writing isn't,
sizes. You can buy a
yeah, they do.
different, handle for a paintbrush that might be bigger and less of a pinch for you to
Mm,
have to hold on to.
mm, yeah. But
Or
it's something,
they've
yeah, that's a really
they've
good
got the
idea.
skinny markers and then they've got the fat markers. You can maybe do
Experiment.
it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
experiment
You could
with
do
that.
giant poster size letters and then fold them up into a little tiny envelope. That would be cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'd have to
You
put it
know what
on
I
like,
mean?
yeah, I'd have to put it on
Like
like
rice
rice
paper.
paper.
That'd be
That's
great.
that's an idea. Because if it's like something that I can do this, then that's
That's
one thing. But if I'm
larger.
trying to do,
Yeah.
yeah, if I'm trying to do small, I can't really write like that anymore, like I used to. I'm on those little note cards. So
Yeah.
at this point,
We
so
need to get you a Cricut or something then.
a cricket.
Yeah, something that you can just like make cute things with, and you just type it onto your phone and it just prints out,
Yeah, I don't
and you
know
can
what
make
that.
cute little stationery. And
And this
Oh.
is this an app?
it's a machine, but it comes with
Oh,
an app.
So it's like a
you know
label
what, Taylor?
maker?
I've never heard of that. I have not
Yeah,
heard of
you can
that.
make all
Oh.
sorts of things, t-shirts, all sorts of things.
You know what?
Stationery.
I think that's a great idea. So maybe that is something that I can use to continue to, to send things to people, because I do like
Shoo
sending
shoo.
things to people in the mail. I think it's just really
And
special.
I love
mm,
receiving your things in the mail.
But I was
I
talking.
I managed I've mailed 3 letters in my life, like mailed. I'm really good at like handing,
I'm really good at
letters
not
and
Yeah.
going to the
stuff.
post office. I'm
But
pretty sure I still
yeah,
have Patty's
I'm
Christmas
not.
present.
I
It's
love to
August.
post people. Like, I mean, my mailman was like my best friend as a kid. Like, I
Yeah, there's
love
something
getting
special.
mail. I love sending mail, but I suck at sending mail. I really suck at sending it. Like,
Yeah,
but
it
I did
takes.
manage to put Patty on my list of 2 other people to have ever received a letter from me.
Yes, that's
So,
right. And I keep them too. I keep them. I think that they're really special. So, but I think like we just live in a time when there are all these other ways of doing things that are like more convenient, they're faster and whatever. And so letter writing kind of goes, kind of falls away. But when people get letters, they still are like, they're very special. Yeah, very, very special to get a letter. So I'll be doing that with my students this year too, doing letter writing at some point. But so, hey, is it time to pull a card?
Yes, but prior to pulling a card, I was whispered to this morning.
Yeah.
That flew by.
Didn't it though? But we've been having so much fun.
We've been having fun. Yeah.
I was whispered to by her on my way down the stairs.
Okay.
Oh, the Clan Mother. You guys told me to read that book one time.
Jamie Sams.
I think I told you I looked at it.
What a great book.
You need to read this book, Anoki.
And Dancing the
I suck
Dream.
at book reading, it's like I'm better
different.
At
She's a storyteller. Yeah, she's a native storyteller. You can't wait to turn the page and hear her next vision.
She does the medicine cards. I mean,
yeah,
so
she does.
Great.
Yeah.
I love the things.
But I mean, like, and she speaks your language.
She does, Anoki.
She speaks your language.
It's for you. It's literally for you.
Yeah, it's different.
So it's funny because as I say this, I pulled this before we ever got on the phone, right? And then we had that little discussion prior to going live. So the clan mother of the 8th moon cycle is she who heals. And she who heals is the guardian of serving the truth. And this is Jamie Sam's poem about the 8th clan mother. This is the moon cycle that she represents right now.
Right, our August moon cycle, yeah.
She who heals. Mother, sing me a song that will ease my pain. Wow. When I tell you that the wind just blew so hard. Men's broken bones bring wholeness again. Catch my babies when they are born. Sing my death song. Teach me how to mourn. Show me the medicine of the healing herbs, the value of spirit, the way I can serve. Mother, heal my heart so that I can see the gifts of yours that live through me.
It's beautiful.
Oh. Well, that's very applicable on a bunch of different levels there.
And so the story about the 8th clan mother is a really beautiful one, about a mother in a cave being doted upon by the medicine women of the Black Lodge tribe, and they assist her in her birth, and they call upon Bat to come through and guide the baby out of the cave. It's absolutely a stunning, beautiful birth story. Gives me goosebumps. Magical. Now, when I came outside this morning, I had brought this deck, and there was one card missing from it. Ironically, as I clicked join Zoom, I found the card lying face up on the ground. I put it back in the deck on top. When the wind blew just now, it flipped the card back up.
What's the card?
I'm pretty sure that wind, the card has been chosen. I'm not going to choose a card
you
today.
Didn't have to choose it. The wind chose it.
I'm an air sign.
The shaman. Whoa. The shaman.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's got a diamond on there, and I'm like, I take my ring, and like anytime I can catch sunlight, I put a galaxy on the wall. Like, so I'm sitting here like this, playing with my little prism.
And meanwhile,
at the same time, the wind is blowing.
Yes.
So you want to read the shaman? That's a powerful card.
It is
a card that comes up a lot for me.
Because it's what you are, my dear friend.
Yeah, I feel like I keep trying to like
girl, stop.
It just happens. Here it goes. What does
All
it
right.
mean in that text?
Let's hear
Let's
it.
hear that one.
The shaman, the magi, the sorcerer, the medicine woman. Okay, sorry. These
Oh, it like
archetypal
harmonized
ingredients.
really cool.
Oh, yeah, thank you. These archetypal ingredients constitute the shaman, and all must be present in order to revel and reveal its magic. First, the shaman is activated by long-standing and diligent study, the mentor. Second, its orientation is generously and accurately aimed towards the healing of self, the other, and the culture, the healer. And third, the shaman has a knack for finding doorways to the other world, allowing psychic visions and old magic to leak into this world, the unseen. And this way, the shaman is a master who bridges the everyday and the sacred, revealing potent power needed desperately in our time. Yet, where there is power, there is shadow. So the shaman must be vigilant in studying their own darkness. This card reminds us that the force of healing is ultimately not our own. We must shape it and share it with the world. When light, become a fearless student. When dark, we overpromise, we blame, we hurt ourselves and others. To go deeper, it's recommended to read Black Elk Speak. Contrary to popular belief, the shaman archetype appears in every vocation: teachers, directors, surgeons, politicians, poets. All of these are shamans' faces. The shaman cannot be rushed. Working with this archetype requires study and perseverance. Think of it like bringing or like brining, or marinating. The content must permeate every fiber of our being.
Mhm.
That's powerful.
Do you know that almost the whole time that you were reading, it was 11:11?
I don't know about
I just,
y'all, but
I
angel
just thought
numbers have been personally attacking me. Like
attacking
angel numbers, I have been so overwhelmed
with
by
angel
the
numbers.
amount of angel
Yeah.
numbers I'm getting hit with right now.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought I'd mention it because I was like, I just looked up and it was
Interesting.
like, wow, it's like 11:11. That's kind of significant.
Well,
But
so
I wake
be
up
it.
at 3:33
And so it
every
is.
morning, and I've seen 11:11 and 3:33 like
yeah,
every day.
111,
that
222,
crazy.
333,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
444,
Crazy.
555
It's crazy.
every single day.
Yeah.
My mileage, my gas, my
Yeah.
totals on my bills, the amount of money I make every night,
It's
addresses I
crazy.
pass,
Yeah.
license plates. I'm like, listen, it's not my fault that you can't be enchanted by the time on a microwave, baby. Live, live a little.
So getting back to the shaman, which I'm sorry, I didn't mean to like interrupt our
No, I
flow
love
with the
that.
medicine cards, but like I just couldn't help but mention that um I was noticing it. But yeah, going back to the shaman card and the importance of healing ourselves, I think like, you know, on a personal note, I think like, okay, so what is this arthritis thing that's going on with me? Like, okay, so it's challenging in some ways because I've decided to approach it in a particular way where I'm not doing any medicine, but it's still, it's still pretty serious. Like it's a pretty serious
You
condition
can
that I'm
always
dealing
ask
with.
Louise, hey.
But like is this connected to my relationship to
Let's look it up.
to my body, my relationship to my spirit, right? Mind, body, spirit. And so is there some cosmic or karmic lesson that I need to be learning as my, the hands that all my life were so strong. Like I was known for having really, really a lot of strength in my hands, and I was able to do all kinds of things right up until, a mature age. And just in the last, couple of years, it's like, nope, that's, and literally just the last year, it's like, nope. So I'm thinking, all right, I want to make sure I'm not missing the less. Why are you
Oh,
looking at me like that?
oh, girl, because I just went and got my Louise Hay book. Let's hurt your feelings. You ready?
Anoki,
I
you're
can't
already
stand her
laughing at me.
manifestations.
You're already laughing at me, Anoki, for real?
You want to talk about her
No, no, no,
arthritis?
no, 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 no. We're
You were
laughing. We're
laughing.
all laughing. Yeah, because look at your phones.
Look at my phones. Look at my.
Look at your phones. And as
Sent me
soon
a
as I sent
message.
it, Tay made that face, and I was like,
We're
What is it?
glittering.
Oh, you're
We're
glittering, your little
glittering.
galaxy. I thought you were laughing at me. You were just giggling at your own little
She's having
galaxy.
the most wonderful
She's just
ADHD
lost in
moment.
her own little galaxy over there. All right.
oh,
She's just
gosh.
showing off her
Meanwhile,
ring.
I've just weaponized Louise Hay because
Okay.
she she always hurts my feelings, and I can't
Mhm.
stand the way that she's right all the time. So
Oh,
essentially
doesn't that
what she
bug
does,
you? Because we don't even
it
like
really does.
her.
I don't understand why you have to be so hurtful, but whatever.
I
Thanks
don't
for
know
bringing up my
who it
childhood
is.
trauma. Okay. Emotional damage.
All right, let's
Um,
hear it.
okay, so what she does is she takes your ailment, your dis-ease, because it
Yeah,
is a dis-ease.
and she turns
You
it
are not
into
at ease.
the spiritual message.
She tells
Just
you
make it a happy
why.
little bird. Just a
Yeah,
happy little
just draw a
bird.
happy tree. She tells you why you have this ailment, and then she tells you the mantra to help heal it.
Okay,
Okay,
let's hear it.
so we are going to go to arthritis.
Mm.
Feeling unloved, criticism, resentment. Mantra: I am love. I now choose to love and approve of myself. I see others with love. Arthritis in the fingers. Blame, feeling victimized. The mantra: I see with love and understanding. I hold all my experiences up to the light of love.
Hmm.
I got arthritis and I am love, damn it. What the hell is that? You know?
I have
like,
arthritis.
I don't
I
think you can
have arthritis
permeate
from
love
being of service to others my
anymore.
whole life. From being a servant. My fingers are broken from serving others. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Damn you, Louise.
I mean, it's something, I don't want to, I don't want to poo poo it. I mean,
No,
it's
and to
something
hear the
to
I thought
consider.
mantra,
it,
it
I
feels
thought it was
good.
gonna be like I thought it was like every time anybody says a mantra, I think of like a frequency, like how like Buddhist chants and
Yeah.
mantras, hit a
Yeah.
frequency. I feel like I know there's a frequency for literally everything in the world,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
and
for
a counter
sure.
Yeah, there
frequency
is.
for everything in the
Oh,
world.
yeah. Yeah, there
And
is.
I
Yeah.
think I've seen frequency validified, like validated, fucking more than anything else,
Yeah.
like that I wish I had the power to to make frequencies in a certain, in certain I just wish I had more on it, more of it, more
So
Mm.
what that
all
brings
the
my
way
mind
around.
to is my Reiki master attuning me to Reiki and using specific drums and
Hmm.
specific singing bowls and bells
Hmm.
that
Well, that's like
were
all my music
already
I play in
resonating
432.
at
Yeah.
the proper hertz, but not just a specific hertz flat. not just 432, but the proper hertz for each chakra, the proper hertz for each organ in your body, because
Yeah.
that's a thing. And when
Every
he would
every
put
night when
this
I go to
singing
bed, I
bowl,
put yeah.
Yeah.
when he would put this singing bowl and ding it on your liver, you could literally feel your liver.
Yeah.
You can feel it. You can feel the change. Um, so that would be,
That's
I
what
would
I
say
want.
get
I want the
some
master
tools.
handbook on frequency. I want
That is light
to
language.
yeah, I want that's
Frequency
what
is
I
light
am.
language.
I'm light language. And I really
You are.
believe in light. I believe in light and I believe in like all the translations of light,
Yes.
like I like to connect religions with light. I do. That's like a
I
thing that
like
I
to
am,
think
and
about
because
the
I
Son
like to
of God
listen to them.
being
Yeah,
light.
I am the light. I am the light and the way. Exactly.
That's right.
Like, it's the way and the light is hell, and I am a metaphor, which is why I only speak in metaphor, like
You
it's
intricate, complicated being.
I mean,
it's
yeah,
magic.
I mean,
Yeah,
so
I
it's all light and sound, and when they
mhm.
break when they look at
When they
light,
combine,
well, I think
it's
like light it turns out to be frequency and
sound.
sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out to be that. So I don't know. I mean, I think, I remember back when I was working with Liv Wheeler, and I had a conversation with the Contemple, and the Contemple told me that my all of my memory of who I really am is in my bones.
Oh,
And it's in the bones, it's in the
wow.
bones, in the bones, it's in the bones, they said. They repeated, it's in the bones, your story is in the bones,
That's why
you are in
fairies
their
want your teeth.
bones. And I was like, oh, say that again.
That's why fairies want your teeth.
Yeah. But I mean, so I've thought about that, as I'm dealing with
Interesting.
arthritis. It's like, okay, there's a relationship here, and I need to
Mm.
get to it. I need to get to it. And I'm sorry,
I'll give my headphones.
universe,
Yes.
that I'm dense, that I'm kind of dense, and it takes me a while to kind of get it and have the light bulb go off. But like,
You're in a human body.
I'm
They
in a human body.
understand.
It's like
They get
I know
it.
there's a connection here, but I haven't gotten it yet. So at any rate, but it's all part of the healing journey, I think. So this is kind of how I'm think. This is one of the ways I think about the this journey that I'm having with this
Hmm.
sudden condition. So
Well,
we'll
considering that libraries are stones, stones are libraries.
mm,
My and bone is the closest thing in our body to stone.
yeah.
My first initiative intuition is to find yourself a very
Isn't
favorite crystal.
arthritis like an inflammation of your bone though? Isn't it like your
Yeah,
bones
yeah, it's a
swelling?
condition. It's a
It's a
condition of
yeah,
the joints, yeah,
it's
of the yeah,
Like your bone
it's an immune
growing and
response.
being
yeah.
more. Well, what's
Mm-hmm.
really strange is like I think I've told you guys before. I was on Depo-Provera for like half my life.
Oh,
It was a long,
What
long,
is
long, long,
that?
long time.
What is
It's a
the
birth
that?
the shot,
control.
birth control shot.
It's
Oh,
the yeah,
Terrible.
and so
Give you
like half my life I didn't have a
osteoporosis like that.
period. I didn't have anything, right? Well, yeah, that's what they say. Like guaranteed bone loss, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Guaranteed bone loss. I was on it for 10 years plus.
Wow.
that's
Okay.
Wow.
terrible.
I went in for my bone density scan, and the woman argued with me that I'd never, ever been on Depo-Provera. And I was like, no, I've
Wow.
been on it for 10 years. And she's like, no, there's no way that you could have been on it.
Mm,
She's like, and on top of that, your bones aren't even like normal. I'm like, what do you
mm,
mean? Thinking like a lot of my, like, I like
Anoki's
bone
an
cancer.
alien.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. So she like holds up my x-ray and it looked like a cartoon skeleton, like black and white. And then she holds up the skeleton of somebody else, and it's like gray and white and black. you know? And like literally the bones were so dense or whatever that they glowed like
Yeah.
there was no grayscale hardly,
Interesting.
compared to the one next to it, right?
Yeah.
Well, my uncle, 6'7" or 6'5", one of the two, is really tall guy. And when they cremated him, they couldn't burn his
His
bones down.
bones. Yeah. Yeah.
Couldn't burn the
It's
bones down.
something in your genetics.
It's a
Yeah.
genetic.
Yeah.
You're
They
Yeah.
related
couldn't
to
couldn't
giants.
burn.
Yeah.
I, I
You're
really
related
think
to
so. Yeah.
giants.
Ah, there's something
I'm
in
the
that
Holy
only
shit,
lineage.
Anoki. That makes
There's
sense.
something in that lineage. Yep.
I'm the only girl in my family that's as big as I am, but all of the
You
men in my
definitely
family are
have
6 foot plus.
Yeah.
some kind of special DNA.
Yeah. It has
Yes.
something to do with your bones. Yeah.
Well, and then when I did
Is
the council screening for my son or whatever, when I had my son, they they normally test like 14 chromosomes or whatever, and that's if you're worried or you have like a thing in your family or something,
Mm-hmm.
only when
Mm-hmm.
it's warranted. Well, my mom worked for this place, so like we were like, well, let's just run the whole panel. So we ran the whole 200 and something chromosome panel that you like all the ones that you could test or whatever. And out of all of them, and typically, like anybody that does any of this scan will pop up, this or that or whatever. Out of the full panel, there was not one percentile for any kind of genetic defect
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
with him, like
so
at
in
all.
Yeah.
Phoenix, when they did the genetic testing on Phoenix's cancer, right?
Hmm.
The DNA strand and the portion of DNA where they found abnormalities, get this shit, Anoki. They don't even know what that DNA is for yet.
Oh,
They
that's
don't
awesome. They
understand
they
that
haven't decoded.
portion.
They haven't
They
decoded
haven't
it.
decoded it yet. She's
That's
like,
awesome.
we could call you in 20 years with an explanation to this
Mm,
abnormality. But at this juncture, it's not it's literally not genetic, but there
no.
is some crazy differentiation in part of Phoenix's DNA. And
Well,
I
remember,
Yeah.
personally think that's why he survived.
yeah. I mean, remember that the portion of DNA that they do not understand is most likely other life memory. It's memories from it our DNA holds memory from our existence, our
Yeah.
soul's
So
existence.
if
And so,
everything from Neanderthals was held in our prefrontal cortex, sometime during the evolution of humanity, all of that was infiltrated into our DNA. And we have not yet figured out a way to decode that.
right. But you are also thinking just about the history on Earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not, I mean,
Okay.
also I'm talking about the soul's history, which probably lived in other places.
Mm-hmm.
Inside the
Mm-hmm.
atom is the nothing, and that nothing is the something that creates
That's
all of
right.
our
Mm.
existence. Mhm.
Right.
There's Nidus.
You
Yeah,
need to
so
wait
that's
just another
that's
second.
fat. Yeah, that's
Again, wait.
fascinating. That's
Yeah.
fascinating. But yeah, so the bones, and also just getting back to the shaman. Yeah, what are the ways that we can continue to heal ourselves? And I think all three of us are really earnestly pursuing all of the different ways that we can heal our, body, mind, spirits,
I
all
think
the
you need
different
to go lay
things.
on a rose quartz bed and take some Solomon seal. That is my doctor advice for you, Patty.
Rose quartz bed. All right. Well, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
have to look for a rose quartz
It's
bed,
like
Taylor.
I have one
12
down the street.
grand.
Come visit me. I have one right down the street. Just come over.
Really?
I do, yes.
Where would I find a rose quartz bed by me?
A healing
In the
center.
mountains. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like in a
Probably.
healing
A
center.
healing center.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with a
This
rose
place does like red light therapy. They do crystal
yeah.
beds. But
Mm.
you know, if we're talking about
Ooh.
locked
The spa day,
memory,
Patty.
yeah, there you
What's
go. There you go.
what's that?
A
What'd you
locked
say,
We
memory
could
Anovia?
in your
road trip
phone.
together and have a spa day.
Ooh, I love that.
I'm
Yeah.
loving this idea too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I tell you what, I will do some research, Taylor, and I will see if I can find a rose quartz bed somewhere near me.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So, and
I love it.
I'll let you guys,
And
I'll
maybe
let you
I'll
guys know.
get out into the woods and collect some Solomon seal and make some medicine so that I can send
Oh,
you some.
I would so like that. Yeah. Because I
Or we
am
Yeah.
wait
doing a
for
whole
Labor Day
bunch.
weekend and then we go up and visit Taylor
Yeah, you guys
Ooh.
can
and
come
do
here
the
and we can
spa
do it
day there.
together.
Ooh, that sounds
And then
really
Pat can watch Midas and all the other kids.
Woot woot. The boys
give
can
give
hang.
all the children to Pat. Oh, wow.
Oh, he can handle it.
It, it
Yeah.
sounds great. I think it's great.
Yeah, he can handle it. He can handle it.
It would just be for a few
I just
hours, but
have
that
to
would be
see.
wonderful.
I just have to see. I do have the 24th next weekend, I believe, or
Uh-huh.
the following weekend. The next weekend, there's a double game in your area, Patty. If you would like
Really?
to come meet us for a football
Fun.
game.
Oh, I would love that. Just let me know. Now, I know one of those days I might be going on that trip to the mill, but
Okay.
if the double, I mean, if
Well,
it
it's
happens on the
two
other days.
games. So there's one early at like
Mhm.
10, and then there's one at like 1:20 or
Okay.
something. So I'll get the deets and I'll
Yeah,
shoot them to you. And if you can, cool.
absolutely.
If not,
I would love
he's
that.
gonna have like 15 other games that are all within, 40 minutes of you.
Yeah. Yeah, but
So
I'd love that. So
Love
there's
it.
one happening right here in Gainesville
there's
next week.
two in one day
Two,
at the
two
same
in one day.
place in
Okay,
Gainesville.
great. Yeah,
So
send me the details on that. I'd love to come.
yay! All right, I
All right, you
will.
guys. Well, this has been, as always, so much fun. We've covered a lot of ground. We've traveled the galaxy, and and Anoki has taken pictures.
Yes.
Isn't that so
So
cool? Wouldn't that be so distracting? Can you imagine having ADHD and looking at that like just randomly all the
yeah,
time? It just happens, and
yeah,
then it catches your eye, and as soon as it happens,
yeah.
that's, that's
That's
it. Like a
God, we
beautiful.
big
love you
white
so
wall
much.
next to me.
That's
Oh, I love you.
I'm
that's
sorry.
beautiful. Well, it's been so it's been so much fun, you guys. And of course, I'm wishing you and everyone out there a wonderful week. Think about the shaman. Think about, I mean, we are all shamans in our own way.
Yeah.
And right now it's important for us all to think about the ways that we can heal mind, body, spirit, especially living in the kind of the crazy world we live in. It'll help us navigate it much better. The more we heal, the better we'll be able to
Yeah.
navigate the craziness out there. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so
we're all shamans. You don't have to look outwardly to
mhm,
find a
Yeah.
shaman because there's a
mhm.
shaman within us all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody's a shaman for a different reason, too.
Absolutely.
Everybody's
That's
got a
right.
different shaman purpose, That's all.
Absolutely.
Everybody. I love you
Absolutely.
guys.
I love you guys so
Love,
much.
love, 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 love.
I'll talk to you soon. Love you.
Love.
Have a great week.
Okay.